Welcome to Speak for Yourself, taking it way back. It's Marcellus Wiley about Pop Warner days. Are you ready to break down? Yes, we are. Emmanuel Ocho.
That wasn't even on beat.
That's how we
wouldn't have been scared of your Pop Warner team, bruh.
We ain't losing
had
game.
like a so beat your pass.
We had the clips in there for real? You want to do another one?
Next block.
You want to do another one?
I got you.
Okay, I got you next block. Let's get it started right now on this block with Dallas and the Cowboys came close to knocking off the defending champion Bucks in the season opener, but they came up short. Now they're on to L.A. to face the Chargers. Dallas will have Pro Bowl guard Zach Martin back, but wide receiver Michael Gallup is on the IR. Dallas Morning News wrote, quote, "It's time for the Cowboys to win a tough road game and prove their playoff potential." Acho, is Sunday already a must-win game for the Cowboys?
So, it is, big dog. And I am scared to say this. Cowboys fans, y'all better buckle up for this take because this take I thought was hot. But as I began to digest it, I realized it's only lukewarm. It's just incredibly honest. Last year, 11 teams started off 0-2. None of those teams made the playoffs. Historically, since the merger, only 10% is the chance that you make the playoffs if you start off 0-2. But I didn't even want my take to be statistical. So, I don't like being a statistician on this show. I like stats backing up my point, but I just want my point to stand alone. You feel me? So I don't even want to go statistically. I'll give y'all those first two stats. Y'all take them, y'all digest them. Y'all use them at the water cooler. That's not my point. My point is something that you can't find on a TI 83 Plus calculator. My point is something that can't be deduced based on your Algebra 2 class. My point is something you got to play the game of football to really understand.
You're going there.
The Cowboys must win this game because if they lose, it will be, oh, here we go again.
Okay.
You can lose to the Buccaneers, Cowboys. You should lose to the Bucks. They got a better quarterback than you and Tom Brady. They have a better receiving core than you when you count tight ends as well. They have just as good a head coach as you, especially when you count accolades. They had a better offensive line than you because Zach Martin was not playing. You could argue they have a better defensive line than you when you look across the board. Have a better linebacking core than you as it stands right now. They have just as good a secondary as you, and they have just as good a defensive coordinator. You can lose to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Not a big deal at all. But when you face the Chargers, you shouldn't lose to them now.
I'm listening.
Because you should have a better quarterback than them. Should. You should have a better running back than them. Should. You should have a better offensive line than them. Zach Martin's coming back. Should. You should have a better receiving core than them. You should have a better head coach than their first-year head coach. You should have a better... You should be better than the Chargers.
I'm listening.
So when you lose to a team you should lose to, I ain't got no beef, no qualms, no issues. But when you lose to a team that you better beat, now there's a problem. And so this game is a must-win game because in the game of football, beat the teams you're supposed to beat, lose to the teams that you're supposed to lose to, and if you're a good team like the Cowboys are, you're going to end up okay. But you can't lose to the teams you're supposed to lose to and lose to the teams you're supposed to beat because then who you going to beat? That's why this is a must-win already, Sal, for the Cowboys.
Oh, man. You made some points. I felt a little something here or there.
Yeah, like I nicked you.
Yeah. Kind of like when I sleep with my son every night. He comes into the crib, then he's in the bed with us. It's about 2:30 in the morning. I feel an elbow here, a foot there. But he's a 6-year-old, and you feel those tender moments. But he caught me there. Woke me up from my great slumber. And you tried to wake me up. I'm going to go back to sleep. What the hell are you talking about? It's week 2, dog. Week 2. Like, we still can hit the snooze button in terms of, do we have to win right now? Didn't you learn anything from a team last year that was flirting with 500, 7-5, that went on a win streak and won the Super Bowl?
Yes, sir.
Did you learn anything from the days of yesteryear when, I don't know, the 1993 Cowboys, when you were 2 or 3 years old, trying to grow your hair out, get the Gumby going? They were 0-2. How'd that turn out? They won the Super Bowl. Let's go to 2001 Patriots, 0-2. Now, you're about 11 years old, riding your Huffy. You're trying to get around the neighborhood, chase them little girls. Hey, Tiffany. You know that team, 2001 Patriots, 0-2? They won the Super Bowl. Okay, 2007. Damn, you flirt. Are you in high school now? Yeah, you in high school, driving, pushing your whip, not paying attention, you know what I'm saying? Buckle up. You riding around, not watching all the NFL games. I get it, you're in high school. The 2007 Giants started off 0-2, won the Super Bowl. Okay, Acho, I like to take my time and draw out these takes because I think they're more interesting, but I just wanted to come real quick. Now you sleep. Okay, now wake your butt up and let's talk a little deeper about this. Cowboys are not supposed to win this game. Let's talk about who the LA Chargers really are. And let's talk about the Cowboys' schedule so far. I give you this, and we can't even argue this. You're not supposed to beat Tampa Bay at home, first game of the season, Thursday night, energy, blah, blah, blah.
Yes, sir.
But then you play the LA Chargers, and a lot of people are like, who are the LA Chargers? Well, supposedly they're everyone's dark horse to make the playoffs and make some noise. Supposedly. At minimum, you could say that. But a lot of people are saying, look out for the Chargers. Why? We saw them even in week 1. Third down percentage, money down, best in the NFL we saw. 27 first down, most of any team that won in week 1. You saw 334 net passing yards. Passing yards, 5th most in the NFL. This is a top 5, top 10 offensive team. Defense, if they stay healthy, they got playmakers. Derwin James staying healthy. Joey Bosa up front. Don't play with this team. This team is sprinkled with greatness. Now, all they need to do is stay healthy with the right coach right now, Anthony Lynn, who I respect, who I think was a good coach, but they have improved in that category, they feel, so far. All that adds up to who are you playing? The LA Chargers. Where are you playing them? On the road. What are the LA Chargers going to be excited about? Geeked about, as we always say. They playing in their home opener of their new stadium in front of fans. You want to know what kind of electricity you're going to face when you face a team that's already loaded, but now going to feel the juice from the fan base in SoFi, including me being there, cheering these boys on? Look, if the Cowboys come back 0-2, they should feel solace that they play in the NFC East. They should have some solace in the fact that in our division is still winnable. The road ahead is so far in terms of we have 15 more games. And last year, the team that won our division actually lost more games than they won. So no way do you panic if you come back with an 0-2 record if you're the Dallas Cowboys.
Here's the issue, Marcellus Wiley. How low are we going to make this bar for the Cowboys?
0-2.
If the Cowboys cannot beat the Chargers, sir, then who can they beat?
Oh, we're doing this.
Chargers are not a bad football team.
Thank you.
But the Cowboys aren't a bad football team either.
Right.
So if we're looking and saying, man, Cowboys aren't supposed to beat the Chargers, then who are they supposed to beat? The Panthers, the Giants, the Broncos, the Falcons, Washington, the Giants again. If the Cowboys aren't supposed to beat the Chargers, then I can only tally up about 7 wins for America's team.
Oh, that would have won the division
I can only tally up about 7 or 8 wins
division
for
champs
the Dallas Cowboys. Here's my problem.
What?
2020, Dak Prescott versus winning teams was 0-3. 2019, Dak Prescott versus winning teams was 2-6. 2018, Dak Prescott versus winning teams was 3-4. When are you going to beat the teams that are good? Because you didn't do it last year, Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott. You didn't do it 2019, Dallas Cowboys, Dak Prescott. You didn't do it 2018, Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott. So, yeah, the Chargers are probably the 15th, 16th best team in the league. Well, Cowboys, if you're better than them, I need you to beat them. I don't want you to beat them. I wouldn't like you to beat them. It wouldn't be nice if you beat them. Yeah. I need you to beat them. Sal, we know this much. It's not enough just for the Cowboys to win the division. And even if they do win the division,
can we start there?
We can start there, but that's not enough.
Okay.
My thing is, I need to see some wins. The Cowboys, 1-13 versus playoff teams in the last 2 years. If the Chargers are a playoff team, and you're telling me that they are, or at least they're playoff talented, Cowboys are 1-13. Dak Prescott owns 9 of those losses. 9 of those 13 losses versus playoff teams the last 2 years, Dak Prescott owns.
Okay.
I can't see the same old story, Marcellus Wiley, because what you're telling me on September 15th of 2021, is the same thing you're going to be telling me on January 15th. Well, man, they weren't supposed to beat the Chargers, so now they're sitting at home. Then what are they supposed to do? That's my problem. Tell me, please, what the Cowboys are supposed to do if they're not supposed to beat a 6-win or 7-win Chargers team from last year.
You're moving the goalposts, and it's okay because I can go with you. Hey, I got a leg, so I'm going to make it from wherever you move the goalposts. I'm going to kick it, and it's going to go through. It's good. You're talking about for 2 years, you're trying to combine what Dak Prescott has and has not done in this division in terms of winning. Okay, let's do that. But if we do that with Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys, let's at least do that with the team that won it all last year in the Tampa Bay Bucks. Oh, we don't want to go back for a 2-year sample with the Tampa Bay Bucks because they had a different quarterback.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and last year, the Dallas Cowboys, for most games, had a different quarterback.
Sure.
Right, so already we moved to something. Now, you want to look at two years ago for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they were nothing. But let's look at last year's. At least we have the same quarterback in Tom Brady. Were they supposed to beat the Chicago Bears?
Yes, sir. I would say.
Did they beat the Chicago Bears? No. The Dallas Cowboys have how many playoff teams remaining on their schedule going forward? 1, 2, 3. That's it. Washington, Chiefs, and Saints from last year. And we all know that every year is going to be different. Some teams going to make it that didn't make it the year before, and some team that made it the year before, not going to make it. We don't know what the Dallas Cowboys are this year so far. They look good in performance in week 1, but they didn't get the desired outcome. The Chargers didn't look great in week 1, but got the desired outcome. This team left the West Coast, went to the East Coast, played a 10 o'clock early game for the West Coast team, which is usually disastrous, went out there and beat up on a Washington team. I thought they were going to score more points, but I knew they were going against a great defense. That great defense only has 6 pressures on Justin Herbert's 49 dropbacks. And that defense supposedly is better than the Dallas defense. You are underestimating what the Chargers are. Last 6 minutes and 43 seconds of the game, 15 plays, 72-yard drive to milk the clock. Chargers. I'm just trying to put some respect on the Chargers, but I'm also trying to get some perspective to the Dallas Cowboys. You got to look at the Dallas Cowboys like, look, this is a team that is building in the right direction. First, it starts with performance, and then it turns into outcome. They may not get the desired outcome this week because the schedule guys gave them the champions and then gave them the dark horse team that's opening up a new stadium.
Man.
You want to use 25 years history against them because they have not lived up to what they used to be. All I'm saying is take it 1 week at a time. A little Aaron Rodgers in your life.
So,
relax.
Demand greater, and you will see greater. I am trying to demand better from the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay.
I'm not sleeping on the Chargers.
You sound like
Chargers are a good football team. But Sal, would you say the Chargers are a top 10 football team?
Well, Pro Football Focus says they were 5th ranked overall in the offense. So maybe
I didn't ask Pro Football Focus.
Okay,
I asked
top
Marcellus
5?
Wiley. Top 10. I just said
top 10. Top 10. You don't need to be top 10. You make the playoffs and you can be top 14.
I'm saying NFC, AFC.
Oh, okay.
You feel me? Like, where would you say the Chargers are?
I would say they're a playoff team.
Okay, so that would make them around 13 or 14. Bet. Good, I'm glad you got them
so low.
If the Chargers are the 13th or 14th best team in the National Football League, Cowboys, you can't beat the 13th or 14th best team in the league?
It's a playoff team. It's a projected playoff team.
Sure.
The Tampa Bay Bucks lost to projected playoff teams.
I already know that the Cowboys can't beat a projected playoff team because the Cowboys are 1-13 versus projected playoff teams, and Dak Prescott has 9 of those 13 losses.
Those are not.
Dak has 9 of them. You got to claim 9 of them.
Wait a minute.
Now,
okay, I'm listening.
I also know this.
Oh, my God.
Dak Prescott is 13-20 in his career versus winning teams. Now, mind you, he started 13-3 his rookie year. So to be 13-20 versus winning teams, that means you ain't necessarily doing something right. In that same period, here are the quarterbacks actively playing who have winning records versus winning teams. Tom Brady, Russell Wilson, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Ben Roethlisberger, and Marcellus' guy, Jimmy G. It's a good list.
That's a great list.
But Dak Prescott, you belong on that list, at least based off monetization, you belong on that list.
Oh, here we go.
Beyond monetization, Dak Prescott, you're top 7 quarterback, right? So I would think that you would be on that list.
So you got to beat every team that's better than you and every quarterback
that's You don't have to beat everyone. But
you got to beat number 8 all the time?
Marcellus Wiley.
Let's go.
You have a 39% winning percentage versus winning teams. Dak Prescott, 13-20. And I didn't even count the Bucs loss, so really 13-21. Let me update my list. You have probably a 37% winning percentage versus winning teams. I do think the Chargers are good. I do not think the Chargers are elite. Dak Prescott, you quarterback a good team. Dak Prescott, you are a great player. I need you to beat good teams. You can't lose to great teams, lose to good teams, and expect to be good.
So you want to go by the mantra of demand greatness and you will get greatness, right?
Yes.
And you think that's linear. Okay. I saw greatness. See, this is what you need to do in your mindset. You need a time shift. But you're moving the goalposts. You're doing that well. But I need you to time shift with me because we saw greatness out of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But on the road to greatness, we didn't always see that same greatness. All I'm saying is right now on the road to greatness for the Dallas Cowboys, you may not see always that same greatness. The Tampa Bay Bucks last year lost to the Chiefs. Expected. Like, okay, whatever. They lost to the Saints twice.
Yep.
Saints are good, okay, but we're dropping a little notch in terms of expectations. We didn't think the Saints would be the Chiefs. Okay. They lost to the Rams last year. We was dropping another tier because we didn't think the Rams were going to be the Saints, or they were right there, but maybe right under the Saints. And they lost to the Bears. Now, that's the one that makes you scratch your head and say, what's going on right here? Even though the Bears have been a playoff team 2 of the last 3 years. What I'm trying to show you is in the progress, in the process of getting to a great outcome, you may have hiccups. The Dallas Cowboys, you can't even count week 1. That's the champs. And I'm trying to tell you right now, if you're going to put more respect on the Chargers, you're not going to be able to count week 2. Listen to this right here.
I'm listening.
2002, Tennessee Titans. Started off 0-4. End up winning 11-5 record. But people like you do takes like this. Oh, it's over. Oh, if you don't win, oh, it's a wrap. 2006, your Eagles, 5-6. How did they end up? Winning the last 5 games of the year and won a wild card game in the playoffs. 2018 Texans, 0-3. Won 11 of the last 13 games, and that's with a quarterback that barely is over 500 in win percentage in the regular season in Deshaun Watson. All I'm telling you is the steps to being great are not linear. They're not perfect. They're not even. And if you don't have the patience and perspective, then I understand why you're not a coach.
I'm saying, yes, it's doable. I was on a team 2013. We started 3-5. Mike Vick was our quarterback. Nick Foles comes in. We finished the season, I want to say, 8-1 or 7-1. Y'all do the math. We finished the season 10-6. We go to the playoffs. I am not saying it's impossible. 3-5 statistically is different than 0-2. 0-2 simply says you got a 10% chance. I'll wait on the.
Did you have a worse division or better division than Dak is facing right now, based on last year?
We had a better division.
Everybody in NFL history's had a better division than a 7-win team.
Here's my problem.
That's my point.
Here's my problem with what you're doing.
Oh, you don't.
My problem with what you're doing is this. One, you are comparing the Saints, the Chiefs, the Rams, and even the Bears to the Chargers. The Saints are better than the Chargers, especially last year's Saints. The Chiefs are better than the Chargers, especially last year's Chiefs. The Rams are better than the Chargers, especially last year's Rams and last year's Chargers. And the Bears. We got this Bears concept this year. The Bears were better than the Chargers, especially last year's Bears. So, yes, the Buccaneers lost to those teams.
And they are the best.
The Bucs
and they
lost to
all teams worse
but all
than them.
those teams were better than the Chargers. But I don't want to get distracted.
Yeah, don't get distracted by the truth.
Here's what I want to focus on.
Yeah, don't do that.
I feel as though, Sel, you are that adult supervisor. You are that parent whose kid comes home and, Daddy, I got to see on my report card.
Which kid?
Not MJ.
He get a see.
Like, Daddy, I got to see on my report card. It's okay. Daddy,
it is okay. That's exactly what it is. It's okay.
It's okay. Daddy, I got a B- on my report. It's okay. Fast forward 18 years. Daddy, I didn't get into college. What do you mean you didn't get into college? You gave them too many passes, Sel, early on, getting the C- and the C+ and the C- and the D. It was okay.
Yeah.
Then they looking at you stupid when they ain't getting to college. And in all honesty, you gave them too many passes. Cowboys, you get a pass losing to the Bucs. It's okay.
Yeah.
But when you come back with, Daddy, I lost to the Chargers, that can't be okay.
That can't be okay?
Because if that's okay, then it's on McCarthy. It's on
you really now trying to detonate.
I'm just saying, it is on everybody who gave the Cowboys a pass when we look up January 10th and the Cowboys like, Daddy, I ain't getting to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder why. You lost to the Chargers, big dog.
I know what you're trying to do there. At the same time, it's not analogous. It's 18. I'm not giving them 18 years of passes. Boy, don't you dare. I'm giving them, yes. You know why? You know why? You know why? If I went into a class, and I've taken classes like this, and they said, I hated this time. Remember this in class? They'd be like, okay, the final is going to be worth 50%. And you're like, 50%? That's all right. What's the rest of this? Attendance is worth 10%. And then we're going to have so many quizzes. That's going to be the other 40%. You're like, damn, these quizzes matter, right? Guess what? I'm looking at the Cowboys like they have 17 tests. But you're going to lose your mind if you lose the first one, F, or C. The second one, C. Your grade is not done. Your grade is not totally undermined after 2 bad tests. Let me get here. Go back to the locker room. What did Coach say? What did Coach say first? You got to win your division.
Yes, sir.
And after that, under his breath, And then he got louder when he said, win all of our home games.
Of course, yes, sir.
Protect this house.
Yes, sir.
Have the Cowboys played at home just yet?
No, sir.
No. Can they still win their divisions? Win the division?
Of course.
So guess what? Their goals are still attainable. I'm sorry. When your kids come home that you ain't gonna never have because you're still super single, I wonder how that's gonna go. But right now, MJ, bring home a C. Don't do it again. Coming up, three-time Pro Bowler and Fox NFL analyst Greg Olsen. You better not put that on my son. Will join us. He'll help us answer if his former teammate Russell Wilson will finally win MVP. You over here cursing the Wally name. But first, Aaron Rodgers is ready to move past.
Let's head to Green Bay, where Aaron Rodgers will try to shake off the worst margin of defeat in his career Monday night against the Detroit Lions. Now, everybody knows this could be the reigning MVP's last season in Green Bay, and he summed up the blowout loss Tuesday. Take a listen.
Look, there's not much to say. We got our beat, by 35 points. We're all frustrated about it, but just move on. We got 16 more to go. This is Tuesday already. Monday, yesterday, you watch the film, you flush it, and Tuesday you start moving on to the next opponent.
So, Sal, let's go a little bit deeper here. Should the
you already know
Packers
it.
be worried about Aaron Rodgers' commitment?
Absolutely. His commitment was on full display, and what we saw is discouraging. What we saw makes us doubt Aaron Rodgers in this moment. And it's hard to doubt Aaron Rodgers because of his resume, because of his greatness, because of his response to adversity in the past. But this one seems a little different. Aaron Rodgers looked despondent out there. He looked disinterested. He looked like a guy who was just like, you know what? Not so concerned with the consequences of today. That's how I read Aaron Rodgers in week one. Now, Aaron Rodgers is now trying to tell us to calm down. Like there's no reason to doubt him. And I'm like, Aaron, you put the ball in motion for us to doubt you. If you would have had a clean, quiet offseason, normal offseason for Aaron Rodgers, nobody's doubting you right now. But we're doubting you because you put this ball in motion. And once that ball's in motion, and then the results from week one line up with that same motion, we're going to doubt you, big dog. You the one that led us to this nasty-ass brown water. Now we drinking and you mad at us? You the one that put us in this position and in this mindset and looking at you in this way. It's funny that players, a lot of times, because we're such in a vacuum in a different world. Our life is moving at a different speed. I know that now. I always heard that then, but I know that now. When you make the transition to the real world, no matter how fast your life is, it's not the same as being an NFL player. Let's talk about that scheduling. Let's talk about that organization. Let's talk about that structure that we all know is moving at the speed of light, and that's fine. But Aaron Rodgers has to know that when distractions enter, they're going to happen, and they're going to happen faster even in the game of life. Aaron Rodgers realizes that he put things in his way, but he thought that his greatness will overcome those things in his way. And then he got humanized. Then he came to a realization after week one, even I, the great, has to be careful. I tell my friends all the time, be careful with those D words, divorce and death. I got a few friends going through divorce right now. I remember years ago, they used to flirt around and clown. Oh, yeah, all right, I'm going to leave you. Okay. And I have a few friends that have gone through bouts of depression, which is connecting a few days, bad days, into expression of depression. And I always tell them, man, don't play with divorce, don't play with death. Don't start talking out of your mind. I don't care what happens to me. Calm down, because what can happen to you is going to be consequential. And when it's that consequence, you can't come back from that. Aaron Rodgers will never get week one back. He can respond to it. But let's not be lying to ourselves up here. Aaron Rodgers and his commitment is what led him to the failures of his week one performance.
Great take. Great take. I'm going to take your words and I'm going to build on them. The Packers should be concerned about Aaron Rodgers' commitment because he doesn't need the job. It's really the biggest thing. Whenever an employee no longer needs a job, it's a very freeing place for the employee, but it is a very concerning place for the employer.
Yeah.
And Aaron Rodgers don't need the job. Marcellus just said Aaron Rodgers is not concerned with the consequences. Of course he's not, because you ain't concerned with consequences when you don't need a job. I see people walking around in industry, regardless of the industry. What they gonna do, fire me?
Yes, we've heard that.
And that's where Aaron Rodgers is at. What they gonna do, bench me? What they gonna do, fire me? What they gonna do, cut me? So I'm gonna go deep on this conversation, because I got hotter on this conversation the more I prepped for it. Aaron Rodgers has too much power. And power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts? Absolutely. And Aaron Rodgers has been given too much power. Can't nobody tell him nothing within the organization. Nobody. General manager, he looking at like, who you? I already told you to sign Randall Cobb, and you did that. Head coach Matt LaFleur, who you? Yeah, I'm clapping back at you at the post-game presser after your post-game presser. Who is anybody? Like, Aaron Rodgers has too much power.
Yeah.
I connected to Cyclops, X-Men. When he got them glasses on, he can control the power, and then he can control, you know, the X-ray vision, not the X-ray vision, but the power that comes from his sight. But then when he takes it off, it's just everywhere, and it's mass destruction. Aaron Rodgers is in the current place of, I think, a little bit of mass destruction because can't nobody tell him anything. Like, bruh, can you really imagine, Marcellus Wiley, week 1 of the NFL season, your head coach comes out here and says, we got whooped, et cetera, and Aaron Rodgers, you clapping back at your head coach week 1.
Passive aggressive.
Like
too.
you already saying, I mean, those are his words, but to me, it's just one game. Again, y'all might not take anything from that, but please know if you're in an NFL locker room, that is a huge deal. It's like talking back to your parents.
Yes.
I don't know about your household. I don't know how you
better know
sound,
about my household.
But based on the man, I think you sound
Yeah, buddy.
Let you be in an Acho household and you get called by your name. My parents call me my Nigerian name. Y'all know this by now if y'all watch the show. Chinedu. Dare I say, what? Hey, God. I can't imagine the response. Aaron Rodgers is that bad kid whose parent, Matt LaFleur, the adult supervisor in the organization, is saying something, and Aaron Rodgers, what? And he can't get checked. There are currently no consequences to his actions. Packers got to be worried about the commitment sale because he don't need the job, man.
Yeah, man. Say it again. He actually basically through his actions said, I don't care. And if you don't care, guess what? We believe you. And that means it could go either way for you. I've had those conversations with people before. It's like, I don't care if I live or die. And I'm like, bruh, that is the worst place to be because now whatever comes your way, you're going to attract it. And Aaron Rodgers in week 1 attracted failure because he wasn't concerned with the consequences, with the outcome. You went, where'd you go, X-Men or something? I don't know what movie that was in the X-Men. I don't know. Man, keep it simple, dog.
Keep it simple, big
Go
dog.
Training Day, dog. King Kong ain't got nothing. Aaron Rodgers is sitting there in the jungle somehow. Damu, put a cap in him.
That's it.
And they looking at him like,
That's it.
His teammates looking at him like, nah, we ain't gonna put a cap in nobody. You handle your own work, big dog. That's on you,
That's
bro.
it. That's it.
That's the one.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Because the problem is, just like in Training Day when Denzel, he finally thought he ran everything. He thought he ran everything.
Nah,
but
B.
the problem was everybody starts to look at him like, wait, nah, like, you've crossed us. And I'm glad you on your analogy bag because eventually, even Packers teammates, they're not going to say it very quick.
They ain't gonna say it.
But eventually they looking at Aaron Rodgers like, big dog, we just lost 38-3, man. Like, you crossed us. Like, we was riding with you. We've been riding with you privately and publicly, but we was grinding at OTAs, and you were on vacation.
Yeah.
We were grinding during training camp, and you weren't fully committed. And now we out here getting embarrassed, and you still out here like, forget what they saying. And eventually they gonna look at Rodgers like they look at Denzel, and Denzel ain't gonna have, Rodgers ain't gonna have nothing less to do.
And then they gonna get a gun to Jordan Love. Be like, you gotta do your own work. I gotta give you this story because my mom is dead. Rest in peace. I love your mama. And Child Protection Services, statute of limitations, they can't do nothing. I remember I was like young. I don't know how old I was, like 11 or something like that. I was walking across the street with my mama to go to Auntie Brenda's house, and my mom asked me to do something. And back in those days, we used to smack our teeth or roll our eyes. I don't think kids do that as much now, but I was like, and I said, what? And my mama was 6'1", 250, and I'm being nice. I think it was more. Mama Singletary turned around and gave me all of them Nikes. And I'm just letting y'all know, that's why I'm a good guy. Sometimes you need that. Yang. Coming up, 3-time Pro Bowler and Fox NFL analyst Greg Olsen is joining us. We'll ask if his former teammate Russell Wilson will finally win MVP. That's next. Oh, speak for yourself. This weekend on Fox, start Saturday strong with the big noon kickoff pregame show at 10 Eastern, live from Norman. Shut up, Acho. Then at noon Eastern, Nebraska takes on third-ranked Oklahoma. Okay. Huge big noon Saturday begins at 10 Eastern on Fox and Fox Sports Russell Wilson, my dog, got the Seahawks off to a great start with 4 touchdown passes in their win against the Colts. Russ has the 7th best odds to win the MVP award, according to Fox Bet Sportsbook. Keep in mind, the 7-time Pro Bowler has never, ever received even a single vote for MVP. Joined now by Wilson's former teammate and Fox NFL analyst, Greg Olsen.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show, big dog. We'll come to you.
How we doing?
We're good, man. We're about to come to you right now. I have a question for you, brother. Is this the year?
Yeah.
Russell Wilson, your former teammate, finally wins MVP.
You know, you don't say this much about a guy like Russ, right? I mean, he's regarded across the league as one of the, top 5, 10 players in the league, an elite level guy. But you can almost make the argument that he's underrated. I think the fact that he's been able to achieve what he has, I think I read something the other day, he's like 2nd or 3rd fastest guy to 100 wins. I mean, what he's been able to do from a production standpoint, and again, the number one aspect of production is wins and losses. I mean, you can't argue what he's done. I think what happened to Russ was early in his career, because the defense and Legion of Boom and what they were building there got so much credit, and deservingly so. I think people took for granted the winning and just assumed it was because of the other side of the ball. And when they went through that big transition on defense and they lost, Cam Chancellor and Richard Sherman and, Cliff Averill retired, they kept winning. They never had a rebuild. And I think that's a credit to him. I think every year he's got to be a guy that's in the running. The fact that he hasn't gotten an MVP vote over all these years is hard for me to believe. But yeah, I mean, you would be hard pressed to find a better guy to be around. I saw it firsthand last year, and he checks every box.
Oh, but does he check the box of winning the MVP this year? I heard a lot of great, loving, glowing remarks about Russell Wilson as a teammate. Wrong show. Wrong show.
Tried us. I think. Listen. Why should he not win the MVP this year? Listen, his team's got to win 12+ games. They got to win the division. They got to make a run in the playoffs. Right? There's a million other categories, but when you just talk about the production and the consistent performance of Russell Wilson year in, year out, week in, week out. Yes, he's an MVP caliber player. Whether or not he's won it before is irrelevant.
Oh, okay. That was stronger.
We got a little stronger. Greg started working out in between his first and his second take. He got a little stronger. I like it.
Went from teammate to brotherhood on that one. Okay, let me just come in as strong as I can. No, he's not going to win the MVP this year. No, he's not going to get a vote again this year. And I'm going to use Russell Wilson against Russell Wilson. This is the reason why. I am a fan of Russell Wilson and his game. However, when you ask me a question explicitly about the MVP, I got to go back to Russell Wilson's resume. You know this, Greg. You played in the league forever. In the beginning of the year, all the voters are trying to get the names, the attention as a player of who we're going to vote for. But then in the second half of the year, they're like, all right, it's time to place our votes. Here's the problem with Russell Wilson. He always raises his hand and they say, who? Russell Wilson? Okay. And when it's time to get the pen and finally get the ballot out and write his name down, they say, why? And then they start to look down and realize he's not the same player in the second half of the season as he is in the first half of the season. Oh, by the numbers, you can see the completion percentage, yards per game, touchdown to interception ratio, passer rating just drop year after year for Russell Wilson. I'm going to need you to explain that coming up shortly. The wins stay the same. I give you that. September, 3-0. Then December, 4-1. You see that, but when you see the completion percentage go from 76 to 64, the passer rating go from 139 to 91, you start to say, okay, the team is winning, but the formula for success is changing. You can't win the MVP in that regard. So if Russell Wilson can be the same Russell Wilson he is week 1 to week 9, after that, week 10 to week 17, week 18 this year, fine, Russell Wilson will get a vote. But never in his career have we seen him finish what he started.
Greg, you see what I have to deal with now. It's very tiring. It's very tiresome. Somehow I'm retaining my hair through all the stress. Greg, let me say what you can't. You're an analyst. I'm an opinionist. You have to be nonpartisan. I'm allowed to be as biased as I want. This is the year Russell Wilson wins the MVP.
Oh, okay.
And I've come out on a limb and said that this is the year Russell Wilson wins the MVP before the season started because, to my dog Greg Olsen's point, Russell Wilson has always been good. He doesn't get enough credit. You could argue Russell Wilson is underrated. I wouldn't lead that argument, but I would co-sign it like Greg said. The kicker is, and Greg, I can't wait for you to speak on this because you were actually there last year. The only reason Russell Wilson didn't win MVP last year, Sel, is one, Aaron Rodgers had a freakazoid season.
Yeah, it's hard.
But two, Russ tailed off toward the end of the season. Again, Greg will know better than I'll let him speak to that shortly. But Russ will learn from what happened last year. Any high-functioning human being will learn from their mistakes. Last year, Russ started out 4 touchdown passes, 5 touchdown passes, 5 touchdown passes. But then y'all go to Buffalo, struggle, couple picks. Then the next week, 1 touchdown. Next week, 1 touchdown. And now we're like, Russ, what's going on? The whole narrative of let Russ cook turned into Russ is burning down the kitchen, and us lame analysts ran with that for far too long. I apologize, Greg. So with that being said, Russ will win the MVP this year because he will start fast and he will finish strong, unlike last year when he waned. But now, Greg, my question to you, because you were there, what actually did happen? And why did Russ tail off? Because if he doesn't tail off, he wins this year.
Yeah, so last year was a really interesting year. So early in the year, the defense, by all accounts, was in shambles, right? We started out the year, they really struggled. So there was no choice. They gave the reins to Russ last year and said, you got to go out and score 40. Week 2 against New England, Cam has the best year. Cam was the MVP after that game.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, right, we couldn't play defense. We couldn't stop anybody. And Russ had to throw the ball 40 times a game, throw 4 or 5 touchdowns a game, and we had to win a shootout. Same thing against Dallas, across the board. The first half of the season, there was no restrictions. The offense was wide open, and it was Russ, carry us. We're trying to figure out the pass. We had just gotten Jamal Adams. They were trying to figure out how to, he's an elite level player, trying to put him in the system. No offseason, limited training camp, right? So the defense was finding their way. And then all of a sudden, the defense kind of found their pace. The old mantra of what Pete Carroll wanted to be, the run the ball, control the clock, no turnovers. Russ had a game or 2 with some turnovers, and everybody panicked. They said, okay, we don't need to force the issue anymore with Russ throwing the ball 100 times. Let's get back to the Seahawks way, play great defense. Our defense is picking it up now this second half of the season. We don't need to put all the pressure on the offense. And as a result, the handcuffs kind of started to get put back on offensively, and it's not a mystery why his production and his play went down. When he had the freedom early in the year, knowing you could throw 5 picks, 10 touchdowns, it didn't matter. You're our only chance of winning through the air. To be able to play with that freedom within the system was why he was the MVP through the first quarter to half of the season. All of a sudden now, the defense is better. We need to run the ball more. Russ has thrown a couple picks. We panic. And we weren't the same offense. We weren't running the same schemes. We weren't running the same kind of high-octane bombs over your heads. But you saw last week, week 1, this new Shane Waldron system now is not the system of the old. I'm not there anymore. It seems to me that they've said, all right, Shane, we trust you to have a little more and we saw he's bombing, Tyler Lockett's catching Willie Mays passes over his head. That was the offense we saw last year. You're right. We need to see it 17 weeks. I'm not there to know what the conversations are in the back end, but that was the struggle we had last year.
Yeah, I'm glad you're trying to explain away last year. Well, Greg, my dog, I do my job. And the years you weren't there, Russell Wilson found himself in that same position. Let's go back 2016. Let's go back 2019. And you felt it as well last year in 2020. So what they say, the first time is a chance, and second time is coincidence. The third time is a pattern. I got a pattern of Russell Wilson not finishing what he starts. Okay, 96 first half in terms of passer rating, 89 second half, 2016. You were in Carolina. 2019, you still weren't there. 116 first half, 97 second half. Oh, you want to know why, Greg, when you get there last year and they're like, Russ, we're going to change this formula up in the second half of the season? Because they have seen this movie before. And this is the problem with Russell Wilson right now, writing the script that he's written before. Somebody else is in town, and they're local, and they got a better script than even you, Russell Wilson. I'm going to tell you, you're going to win MVP this year right now after week 1. Matthew Stafford. See, this is the problem. Matthew Stafford going to put up the numbers that Russell Wilson has, but Russell Wilson, you did yourself a disservice this offseason with all that commotion. You lost your jetpack. You know what Russell Wilson's jetpack used to be? Being a good guy. No commotion. Go Hawks, and all that positivity. Now, I'm watching Matthew Stafford put up the numbers, but also he has the good guy story because I saw his wife. Actually, they showed two wives, but they showed the real wife having podcasts and talking about Matthew Stafford has resurrected his career. His joy is back. You can see him smiling. Oh, he's loving football once again. With those numbers and that storyline in Los Angeles, sorry, Russell Wilson, the fact that you can't finish what you start has now come back to haunt you in full because Matthew Stafford even stole your storyline.
Here's the interesting thing, though, Sel, and I might be listening to my dog Greg a little bit here, is that...
Okay, what?
Is it an indictment on Russell Wilson that he ain't necessarily winning the MVPs?
Okay.
Because if somebody puts handcuffs on you unwarranted or at least unnecessarily or at least you didn't desire them, then of course your numbers are going to go down. Now, Russ struggled against the Bills, so I do understand how after struggling versus the Bills, hey, you know what? Let's just make sure we keep winning these games. But I do not think that based on how Pete Carroll has historically wanted to play the NFL game of football, run the ball, defense, win it. Remember, Pete Carroll's a defensive-minded coach. It doesn't necessarily lend Russ to winning an MVP. So I could understand the struggles of last year. Everything got convoluted in narrative for him. When Russ said at the beginning of last season, I don't just want to vote, I want to win the whole thing.
Uh-oh.
Because in narrative form, then we were all like, oh, yeah, Russ does need to win the whole thing. Now Russ has been quiet about his MVP desires this season. So the narrative will look completely different. I think Russ will quietly have one of his statistically best seasons. I think Russ will quietly throw over 45 touchdown passes, at least 40-plus touchdown passes. And I think Russ will silently win the MVP award through his play as opposed to through his voice.
Oh, that's interesting. So he's going to quietly do all those things, and Matthew Stafford is going loudly in his performance and his great team and his performance out here in Los Angeles is going to take that award from him. And it's okay, Russell Wilson. You won. I always tell you that, Acho, when I went to my therapist and he brought me down in crocodile tears, he just looked at me simply and said, Marcellus, you won. Russell Wilson has won, but he's not going to win the MVP. And that's okay in this world. Johnny Depp has never won an Oscar, and he is a great actor. Ed Norton never won an Oscar. He's a great actor. Robert Downey Jr., and you always bring him up, Acho. Has he won an Oscar? Matt Damon, that's my dog. He ain't never won an Oscar. Will Smith has never won an Oscar. Russell, you ain't gonna never win the MVP, but it's okay, because you won. Tears. Coming up, there's a lot of brotherly love right now for Jalen Hurts. We'll tell you if it's too soon to say his Eagles are the best team in the NFC East. That's next. Don't speak for yourself. Not even a vote. Put 100 on the art. Put 100. Jalen Hurts led his Eagles to a blowout win over the Falcons in Week 1. Hurts finished with over 300 total yards and 3 touchdown passes. Philly is the only team in the NFC East right now that is 1-0. Greg, you called the Eagles' first game against the Falcons, so is it too soon to say the Eagles are the best team in the NFC East?
Yeah, I think it is. I think right now, again, after 1 week, the fact that they're the only team that's won, I think, is really meaningless. Having said that, I came away impressed. I went into the game, preparing for a few weeks through training camp and, just talking to people around the building and kind of studying some of the offseason, press conferences and whatnot, like really not knowing what to expect. So much was on the shoulders of Jalen Hurts. I didn't really see a lot of him last year. The games that we did see him play, he was playing behind the third string offensive line and the team was a disaster and the coach was on his way out. So it wasn't a true fair evaluation. So I don't know if even Nick Sirianni really knew what to expect, but he was really good. He was completing a high percentage of passes. He was pushing the ball downfield. The best thing I would say that Sirianni did was built that offense around Jalen. Now, having said that, they won big, they won on the road. The Falcons, we got to see them play some other teams here. I think Atlanta gets some wins here and there. I don't think Atlanta is a team that's really in a position to compete week in and week out. I just don't think they have the roster for it. So I think we got to see Philly do this a few more times, see Philly do this against some more capable, better teams. But, after week 1, I think they left Atlanta feeling really good. At least they answered a few questions that they had that no one answered in the preseason. They got Devontae Smith going. Listen, there's 2 things that the Phillies have that keep them competitive. Their offensive and defensive line. The big problem over the last couple of years is keeping those groups together on the field where they can play. If they do that and Jalen can just play similar or even better than he did this past week, can they win the division? Yes. I still think if Dak stays healthy, it goes through Dallas. I think Dan Quinn will get that defense straightened out. They'll get better as the year goes on. And I think Dak can score 30 to 40 on you any week.
Greg, I love that take, and I love that you called the game because you watched it closely. You know your boy's a former Eagle, so you know your boy knows that squad very well. I don't think it's too soon to say that the Eagles are the best team in the NFC East. And it's not because they're 1-0 and everybody else is 0-1. I think that's trivial. It's not even that the Eagles won. It's how the Eagles won. It's not that the Cowboys and the Giants and Washington lost. It's how they lost. First, let's talk about the competitor, the Cowboys. You forced 4 turnovers, 3 of which were meaningful, and you still lost that game? That's not good. You couldn't establish a run game? That's not good. Dak Prescott threw for the 2nd most yards of any quarterback in week 1, and you still caught an L? That's not good. CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper both played well, and you still caught an L? That's not good. Okay, enough about America's team. Let's talk about the Philadelphia Eagles, blue collar. It's not just that they won because they beat the Falcons. I'm with you, Greg. I just don't have to be as nice in saying it. Falcons ain't going to be good this year. So I don't care that you beat the Falcons, how you beat the Falcons. Eagles, you rushed for 173 yards. Eagles, your offensive line looked dominant. Jalen Hurts, 3 touchdown passes, no picks, 124 passer rating. When last year your passer rating was one of the worst in the entire National Football League. Eagles defense, you look good, you look competent. It's not that the Eagles won. It's how the Eagles won that tells me they can be the best team in the NFC East. I had my doubts. I'll admit it. I had my doubts as recent as 2 weeks ago. But the job of an analyst is to update his estimates, to update his takes based on recent information. Greg, you were in the stadium, so you saw it best. I just know the team incredibly well. I'll end my take like this. Realistically speaking, the Eagles players don't got the names, but they got the game that the Cowboys got. Let's not get it twisted. Miles Sanders, since he stepped into the league, and Greg, I can't wait to hear you attest to this. He's been a better running back, a more explosive running back than Ezekiel Elliott. So the Eagles, in theory, got a better running back. Miles Sanders averages 5.7 yards per touch from scrimmage. Zeke, 4.7 yards per touch. Devontae Smith, he ain't got as cool a name as CeeDee Lamb, but he was a Heisman winner coming out of college. Jalen Reagor, yeah, he struggled last year, but he's a first-round pick burner. Dallas Goedert, Zach Ertz, those tight ends, Greg knows a thing or two about being a good tight end. Those dudes are beasts. Jalen Hurts, you asked me early on in his career, almost a carbon copy of Dak Prescott, and not just because they both light-skinned it. So when I really look at it, the Eagles really can be just as good talent-wise as the Cowboys. Last note, I'm going to say, Eagles' offensive line ain't nothing to play with. Lane Johnson been an all-pro. Brandon Brooks been an all-pro. Jason Kelsey, to me, is still the best center in all of football. Eagles have found the left tackle in Malaitai. I don't even know how to pronounce his name, but he just got paid. So
I'll take a double.
I'm going to just call him Rich. So I think the Eagles, talent-wise, are just as good as the Cowboys, and it appears they got more grit.
Yeah. That all sounds good. All you need is a piano, maybe a violin to go with that soundtrack. Because, boy, you lost perspective on that take. I'm glad you updated your takes, though, as you said. As an analyst, you got to update your take. Okay, that's good. But do you download your notes as well, especially those on Dallas? Because it doesn't sound like you do. You know that Dak Prescott and Dallas Cowboys have won 4 of the last 5 against the Eagles? Sounds like ownership over there. Dak has had 100-plus passer rating in 3 of the last 4 games against them. Yep, Dak is 19-6 in this division. Dak is looking at this team and saying, when I'm healthy, we never lose. And that's true based on resume. My boy Acho lost perspective. And let's go to our favorite sport of all, Acho, track and field. Okay, Usain Bolt set the world record with a 9.58. I want to ask you, Acho, who is the second fastest man in the world? Tyson Gay. I ain't gonna put that on you. Tyson Gay.
Tyson Gay, 9.69.
Nice. Okay, good.
Your boy no track? Okay.
Don't try me, Marcellus. I'm about to really try you now. Do you remember how that race looked?
I didn't look fast.
He got smoked. Smoked, like out of camera almost smoked. And he ran the second fastest time ever. All I'm trying to highlight to Acho is when you're going against the best, it may not look as good, but it's still damn good. Ooh, is that a parallel to the Dallas Cowboys going against the best, going against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? It may not impress you, Acho, but it was damn special to these Cowboys in terms of confidence and performance. Now, since we're talking like this, let's give some props to the 2 horses that's going to be in this race. The Philadelphia Eagles, who I love, I think this is a legit team. I saw them go out there with Jalen Hurts, who I've been a big believer in, and finally they found their leader. They're going to be there with the Dallas Cowboys, but to answer the question, this is Dallas's division to lose, record aside right now.
Let me talk to my boy Greg Olson for a second, please. Let me talk to my dog. Now, Greg, I have tried to do this research, but you actually put hours on hours in preparing for the game. So I'm just curious, who has a better offensive line, Eagles or Cowboys, particularly Gael Collins being suspended?
Yeah, you have to go with Philadelphia. I agree with you with that, right? I think that the two aspects of Philadelphia that you can't argue are far superior. They're the best in the division, offensive and defensive line. They take the cake not only within their division, but I mean, you'd have to go across the league far and wide to find a team that has better trenches on both sides of the ball. And I'm not debating that. I agree with you about Miles Sanders and what he can do in the running game. All I'll say is we all know the truth of the NFL. At the end of the day, it comes down to passing the ball. Who's the most prolific passing game? At the end of the day, no one cares about the running game. No one cares how much you run.
That's real.
Derrick Henry is kind of an anomaly, right? Like, yes, we handed him the ball 1,000 times but not everyone has Derrick Henry. Running is important. Yeah, this day and age, my running backs need to catch the ball out of the backfield and they need to blitz pickup. I can find guys to turn around and hand them the ball. The reason Christian McCaffrey is so special is because I can throw it to him. Now, Miles Sanders can do that. But the drop back passing game in Philadelphia, it looked good. I said it on the broadcast at halftime. We talked about it. Jalen in the first half, especially checked all the boxes, RPO, zone read, kept the ball, handed it. True traditional drop back, third down, true traditional drop back. Yes, he did it for a game. He played Atlanta. I'm not saying he can't do it. I'm just saying I need to see him do that for a few more weeks against some pretty competent defenses, some pretty high level defenses before I say, you know what? He's answered all the questions. He's the guy for the next 10 years. Can he be that? Yes. Does everyone in the Philadelphia building, that organization think he is? Yes. I just think we got to allow this guy to prove it. Dak has proved it year in and year out. When he's in the game, Marcellus hit it. When he's in the game, they can and are in the running to win every single time they step on the field.
All right, Greg, let's get a little uncomfortable then. You know, that's what your boy's known to do.
Let's get
a little uncomfortable.
Let's do it.
Greg, I believe that winning and losing is a quarterback stat. There are anomalies. Deshaun Watson, a really good quarterback, went 4-12 last year. There are anomalies. Trent Dilfer, people question how good he was, won a Super Bowl. I'm not talking about the outliers, Greg. I'm talking about the norm. For me, I'm concerned that Dak Prescott is 13-20 in his career versus winning teams. For me, I'm concerned that Dak Prescott is 9-17 in his career versus playoff teams. So while what you're saying makes sense statistically based on him filling up a box score, if you 13-21 versus winning teams and you 9-17 versus playoff teams, it's not necessarily translating. If winning and losing is a quarterback stat, then to me, that's an indictment on your statistics for whatever reason being able to translate. You played your career with some phenomenal quarterbacks. The most recent, Russell Wilson. Winning and losing a quarterback stat, he was a dude. Cam Newton, you were there during the highs of his career. Winning and losing, you had a 15-1 season for crying out loud with Cam Newton. So if Dak Prescott is that good as it pertains to winning, aren't you a little bit curious of the fact that it don't translate?
Yeah, I mean, you're asking me if they're going to win the division. Do I think that the Cowboys are going to win the Super Bowl? No. With that defense? No. Right? I think we got to keep it within context. Yes, quarterback stats are driven. Wins and losses are quarterback stats within context. You brought up Deshaun Watson and a few of the outliers. Absolutely. But even within Dak and the Cowboys, Dan Quinn was brought in because someone's got to fix that defense. You know, Mike McCarthy's betting on the fact that Dan Quinn is going to make them. Again, they don't have to be the Legion of Boom of, 2012 in Seattle. They just need to be competent. They just need to keep the opposing team in the 20s, and they're pretty much going to be in the running to win every single game, right? They're going to score. They're going to push the ball down the field. You named all the receivers, CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper. I mean, these guys are uber talented. The reason that Dak has come up short is because they haven't really been able to complement him on the other side of the ball. So within the context of wins and losses, I agree with you. All I'm saying is if Dan Quinn can just make them serviceable and just get them to like baseline average in the league, Dallas wins the division. Now, is Dallas going to make a deep run and win the NFC? I don't think any of us are sitting here pretending that they're the front runners, to win the conference. But to win the division, it's a passing league. It's a quarterback-driven league. And right now, they're at the top of the division until someone unseats him.
I'm with you there. Yeah, I can see right now the Giants don't have a big gripe with us, but the Washington football team, the NFC East champions of last year, are sitting there saying, I didn't hear our names.
If they didn't lose their quarterback, I'd say they had a shot.
Exactly. We didn't say their names once. Quarterback-driven league, and Dak Prescott is still the best quarterback in that division. Coming up, are the Cowboys already in a must-win situation this Sunday? We'll get to the bottom of what's going on in Dallas next. Oh, speak for yourself. We said Tyson Gage's name more than we did Washington.
The Cowboys came close to knocking off the defending champion Bucks in their season opener, but they came up short. Now they're on L.A. to face the Chargers. Now, Dallas will have Pro Bowl guard Zach Martin back, but wide receiver Michael Gallup is on IR. The Dallas Morning News wrote, quote, it's time for the Cowboys to win a tough road game and prove their playoff potential. Yeah, I agree with y'all on that.
Had to sell the papers. I got to sell papers.
Well, we joined now by Fox NFL analyst, our guy, Bucky Brooks. So, Bucky, is Sunday already a must-win game for the Cowboys?
Yes, absolutely. It's a must-win game. You just said that the graphic talks about it. 11 teams that started 0-2 last year did not make the playoffs. The Dallas Cowboys, under Mike McCarthy last year was 4-12. They started out 0-2. 4-14. Look, we can tell those stories about being a Super Bowl winner and all of that, but in the locker room, ain't no one listening when you keep racking up L. Last year, you got a hall pass because Dak Prescott did not play. If you continue to lose games, they begin to look sideways at them because they can look around the locker room and talk about the talent. They know that they have players that can win. But, man, if you keep accumulating these losses, they begin to say, maybe it ain't us. Maybe it's him. Mike McCarthy knows this is a must-win game, not only for his team, but for him.
Bucky. I'm not going to talk about you. I'm going to talk about it. I'm not going to talk about the performer, the performance. I'm not going to talk about the actor, the act. Some takes sound smart to dumb people. And that was just one take that sounded real smart to somebody who ain't did their homework. But your boy up here did my homework. I'm a better student than my son because I also think my son's a C student. So here we go. Teams that started 0-2 and still won the Super Bowl, Bucky. Super Bowl, Bucky. 1993 Cowboys, when you were like 30, 40 years old. I don't know, Bucky. You remember in 93? Cowboys won the Super Bowl. Started kind of slow. 0-1 Patriots. You remember that team? Tom Brady does. Won the Super Bowl. Started kind of slow. 0-7 Giants. They won it all, Bucky. Won it all. I don't understand. If your goals are still attainable, do you ever get defeated before you reach your goal? And that's what y'all basically trying to tell me. That's what this newspaper is trying to tell me, and y'all gonna co-sign it. Hey, if you start off 0-2, guess what? It's not gonna work for you. Y'all lying. Let me tell you and personalize this real quick because my conversion was similar to this. Started off slow. I was really good, really great as a youngster. And then I got to high school, had Osgood Slaughters, had some knee issues, blah, blah, blah. I went from 5-star projection to probably 3.5, 4-star, something in that world. Still good, but not me. All right, go to Columbia. You know what I heard? If you don't do well there, you started slow. You're 0-2. It's not going to work for you. I heard this early in the race of the marathon. And people were trying to defeat me before I could get to my goals. All I'm going to tell the Dallas Cowboys is, I made it. And y'all can make it too, even if you go 0-2.
They can still, but they probably won't. And we are speaking right now in the manner of probably. Bucky Brooks hit the nail on the head. 11 teams started 0-2 last year. None made the playoffs. Since 0-2, there's a 10% chance that you make the playoffs if you start 0-2. So, yeah, it's a chance, but it's not a good one. It's a must-win for the Dallas Cowboys. It's a must-win for several reasons. You can have this, here we go again moment. From a micro perspective, when you are playing in a football game and you're playing against a team that's better than you, They go out, they score 2 quick touchdowns, you're down 14-0. You start to think to yourself, here we go again. It's about every team that plays Alabama. When you now are a macro perspective, look at the course of a season. Dallas Cowboys lose to the Bucks. If you lose to the Chargers, it's here we go again. I'll also give it to you like this. Cowboys have only had back-to-back losing seasons, or the last time they had it was 01-02, Dave Campo. Dave Campo, his first year as a head coach, had a losing season. Last Cowboys coach debuted with the losing season, Mike McCarthy, last year. If you lose to the Chargers, there's just going to be questions, and things will begin to erode from inside out. But, Bucky, here was my biggest point when we talked about this prior. You can lose to the Bucks because you're not supposed to beat the Bucks. Bucks have a better quarterback than the Cowboys, better receivers, counting tight ends than the Cowboys, better offensive line without Zach Martin than the Cowboys, better defensive line than the Cowboys, better linebackers than the Cowboys, better defensive mind than the Cowboys, and just as good, if not a better head coach than the Cowboys. Y'all can lose that game. But Cowboys, when you play in the Chargers, Cowboys should have a better quarterback. Cowboys should have a better running back. Cowboys should have better wide receivers. Cowboys should have a better head coach. Chargers head coach his first year. Cowboys should have better at just about every position group. So if you lose to a team that you're better than, then what's the excuse? Maybe you're just not that good, or your coach isn't that good. Thus, you ain't going to be good all season long. It's a must win right here, right now.
Oh, Acho, I'm with you on that because you pointed out everything. You talked about the coach and the confidence, because we've all sat in those team rooms and coaches standing in front of there and saying, hey, guys, if we do this and we do that, we're going to win the game. But if we continue to do these things, but we keep getting these L's, you begin to lose the confidence of the team. And I like what Marcellus pointed out. In 30 years, he picked 3 exceptions to the rule, 3 out of 30. And so if I'm going to go to Vegas with those odds, I'm coming back home broke. So, Marcellus, you can roll those dice and do that, but I'm going to take what the odds say. And the odds suggest that if you go 0-2, you're not going to the playoffs. And if you are 4-14 as a coach, which Mike McCarthy would be if they lose this game, it is a hard sell in that locker room each and every week. You then got Jerry Jones looking at you side-eyed. So it might not be a must-win for the team, but I know Mike McCarthy is looking in the mirror saying, oh, man, I got to win this. And you better hope he don't say Candyman 3 times, because he's going to get him before Jerry Jones gets him.
I was about to do it too, but it's something about me, like, I ain't playing with that fire. I ain't saying, Candyman, no more. Dumb. I ain't saying no more. No, not me.
I love you, Bucky, but you're really trying to put me out there sideways. I never said in 30 years there's only 3 teams that made the playoffs 0-2. I said won the Super Bowl. Oh, you want more examples? I didn't know you wanted to go to my 98 Bills where we were 0-3, looked up 10-6, and we were in the playoffs. I didn't know you wanted to go to 02 Titans, 0-4, looked up, won 10 of the last 11. Oh, Bucky, how your odds looking in Vegas now? A little better, huh? What about 06 Eagles? Oh, what about 2018 Texas? Oh, I got more, but I'm starting to bore you because you're starting to make some money in Vegas. It's not the end of the world. Look, I understand when people have a fear of the unknown, but I don't get it when people don't respect the known. And I need to see Acho's face up here because he ain't got enough respect on my LA Chargers, who had the best third down money down percentage last week in the NFL. Go Chargers. Who had the most first downs of any team in week 1 that won? Go Chargers. Who had the top 5 offense already? Go Chargers. Now, here's the unknown. Y'all don't know how good the Chargers are going to be. I do. Nobody knows how good Rashawn Slater is as a rookie left tackle. But you know who does now? Chase Young. How many pressures you think my young rookie gave up in 49 pass blocking snaps? Not a single one. Y'all better put some respect on these Chargers. They are bona fide up front and offensively because they got the quarterback that they need. They stay healthy on that side of the ball on defense with Bosa, Derwin James. They got greatness sprinkled in all around. All I'm saying is if you lose to the Super Bowl champions and then you lose to this up-and-coming dark horse that may upset the entire apple cart, it's okay. You can still recover, make Bucky some money in Vegas, and still win the Super Bowl.
Here's the problem, Sal. If you can't beat the Chargers, which are a good team, but not a great team,
damn good,
then I'm going into the game saying you can't beat the Patriots, who the Cowboys have to play later.
No, they are.
You can't beat the Chiefs. Can't beat the Raiders, can't beat the Saints, can't beat the Cardinals, and you're probably going to have to split with the Eagles. If you can't beat the Chargers, which are a good team, then what other good teams can you beat? Only teams you can beat are bad teams. So sure, Cowboys, beat the Giants a couple times. Beat the Falcons, if you will. Go ahead, beat the Vikings if you want
now
to.
We cooking.
Broncos looked all right, so I can't even guarantee you're going to beat them.
Yeah, facts.
All of a sudden, now all I can do is guarantee about 5 wins or 6 wins for the Cowboys. So, what? It's fine if you lose to great teams, but I need you to beat good teams.
Oh, God.
Look, you talk about beating good teams. And look, I got distracted because there was an LA Charger infomercial that Marcellus did when we were talking about the Cowboys. So let me try and keep it on track. So the Cowboys are playing the Chargers, and the Chargers are supposed to be good. And what Marcellus basically just told me that the Chargers are going to beat the Cowboys. And so if we go 0-2 and then we face the Eagles, who in a previous segment we talked about being maybe the best team in the NFC East, the pressure continues to mount because you go from that to the Panthers, to the Giants, and then to the Patriots. And by most accounts, we will say the Patriots, that might be an L if Mac Jones continues to play the way he's playing. We know that a division game is tough with the Giants. I'm just saying, to me, this is a must-win because the longer they go tallying up these L's, the more likely it is that they're going to lose faith in their coach, lose faith in themselves, and once again look like a lottery team, a team picking in the top 10 of the draft, trying to find some more players to get back on track.
What you mean the more they go? Like, it's one at a time. This is why the mindset is so important. Don't add them up. Just take them as they come. Like, if you lose the first game, you lost the first game. You ain't losing the second game or closer to losing the second game. You lose the second game, you're not closer to losing it. That's why we were 0-3 and we looked up, we had 10 wins. Because we didn't add them up. We took them as they came. Oh, man, Acho, looks are so deceiving. And I know what Acho is doing. And Bucky, he's doing it with your money in Vegas. Acho is doing what every player has always done. Back in our day, we used to get the schedule released, and they'd come out on some paper, and we'd run to the bathroom. I ain't going to take you all the way there. But basically, you start circling and crossing off. Everybody's played this game, right? Wherever you did it. All right, we got them. Ooh, I don't know about that one. We got them. 10-6. Now they're going to say 10-7, right? 10-7. And I wish y'all had those pieces of paper still. And looked how many times y'all were wrong. How many times y'all beat somebody you wasn't supposed to beat. How many times somebody beat y'all that wasn't supposed to beat y'all. And how many times y'all got hot and you didn't even project when y'all gonna get hot. And how many times you got cold when you didn't even see it coming. Last year, I saw the Super Bowl champion 7-5, and I saw Bucky wearing that same suit, too. Come up here and talk about, oh, man, Bucks, the experiment has failed. It's not going to work. Acho, I saw you, too, last year. You were not on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers until after the Super Bowl. Point being, man, we don't know how this is going to play out. But I tell you what, if you tell my team we just lost to the champions, and you tell my team we just lost to the Chargers, and this is their home opener, in a new stadium with fans for the first time, them boys gonna be on 11. It's gonna be insane. So if the Cowboys lose, Cowboys fine. You still play in the NFC East. Coming up, it's back. Marcellus is dead. Dude is back. So we'll find out who made my list from week 1. And that dudes. You can see we got it polished up too. It's going down. That back show me for your share. We all know that football is one upfront count-sacula. You like that? Look out. Oh, you got stood up. Look out. Say good night. Like night-night. Who that? A little dance move the front. Throw them off. It's Superman. Hey, wah. Bullet guard. Yeah. We got good sound effects. Supercharged out there. Ooh, look at this boy out there. Oh, so everybody's seen this play, but everybody doesn't know why this play occurred.
The wait is over, baby.
It's over.
It's time now, ladies and gentlemen, for the return of that dudes of the week. Now, Marcellus Wiley is going to highlight the best of week 1 from the guys down in the trenches.
Yes.
The cats in the trenches, they don't get enough love, Sam.
Thank you.
And I'm here to give you the opportunity to give your boys some love. Now, let's start in Cincinnati, where Mike Zimmer, defensive mind for the Vikings, he gave Joe Burrow a warm welcome. back to the NFL.
Yes, sir. We got to start this off with that dude, number 3. It's time to pop it for Pierce, my man Michael Pierce. Oh, Vikings defensive tackle right here. Let me give you some love because this is where the best athletes are. Yeah. Look at this physics right here on this play right now. Oh, my God. Hard starter, step to the left, and then we go right around the center. Let me tell you how this goes. Whenever someone's in that position with that harder step, they ain't going that way because look at his body. He has to go the other way. Look at his eyes. He's telling you where you go. But now you're feeling the push from the center. Center is trying to push you. Okay, a little Aikido. Use you against you. Hey, nothing stronger than you wanting to go the wrong way. And that's what he does in that moment right now with a little Yankee swim. Let's change the angle on this. Got you down there now. It's time to pop it, what you say. Let me do the brown. And now we got to go find you, Joe Burrow. Where you at, big dog? Or you're laying on me. Time to eat. Get in my belly, Joe Burrow. My man, Michael Pierce, you're that dude's number 3.
You said a little Aikido. That sounds like a bowl you'd order like Taco Tu Madre or something.
Taco Tu Madre? Come over here. I'm going to show you what a little Aikido is.
Hey.
All right, yeah.
I'm waiting for that last move you're going to show me later on. But let's head to Carolina, where another AFC quarterback took a beating because Jets rookie Zach Wilson was sacked not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but 6 times in his loss to the Panthers Sunday. Talk to me, Sal.
Man, it's time to welcome to the league my boy Derek Brown. Up there. All right, let's see Derek Brown out here. Let's this. You're going to see 2 dudes. Derek Brown, Yetur Gross Matos. Oh, watch this little TT stunt. TT, do you know me? Yeah, Zach Wilson does now. A TT stunt is when 2 tackles going to run a stunt. Right here, all you got to do is pin inside that guard. You pin inside that guard, game over. I don't give a damn how many people you got blocking. Oh, you got pinned. Now you can see both of them coming. 3 blockers on 2 guys. They shouldn't win, but they do. Look at that right now. 2 devils on your shoulder. What you gonna do? You gonna pray. Zach Wilson, get your butt down on the ground. That is an ugly position to be on. 585 pounds laying on him. Oh, my God. Look at my guys. Derek Brown going crazy over there. You are that dude.
Now, break this down for me because I got to go back to my days, running them stunts and whatnot. The trick is to pick the guard's hip, correct?
Thank you. That's all it is. And it's so impossible.
I'm the guard.
You're the guard. Okay. So I'm coming on the stunt, and then I chose blocking here.
Yes, sir.
All I need to do is stay here and pick. I can't cross face. I'm getting blocked by the center, and I see your face ugly. I'm not trying to cross your face uglier, but if I stay right here, no matter what you do, I shall do it. Do it.
Calm down.
It ain't going to work,
Calm
dog.
down.
That's a pick right there.
Too tight for all that nonsense. Okay, finally, we all know who number 1 is on the list. That's the Cardinal star, was just named NFC Defensive Player of the Week for his Week 1 monster performance. The floor.
It is Chandler Jones and a look at your boy. Lasso of truth right here. Watch this.
It's my favorite move, y'all. It's my favorite move, y'all.
It's all mental and physical meeting at the pass. Right here, this ain't even Taylor Lewan, dog. We got somebody else out here. Ryan Tannehill, like, look, Kendall Lamb, help me out. He can't even do it. Chandler Jones is going to set him up. Look at that bad position already by Kendall Lamb. He's going to set him up, make him think he's going around him. And then he hits him with the lasso of truth. Wonder Woman gonna grab them legs and say, get over here. He got him up in the air and those feet are crossed over. Chandler Jones felt that and now hit him with a little bit of a silky Reggie White inside move. Cleared him, which means you're not gonna recover. Ryan Tannehill, take that sack, forced fumble, time to get the ball. Chandler Jones, my God. You are that dude's dude. Number 1 this week.
Bro, that was my favorite move. We talked about this on set yesterday.
Yes.
Because he threatened him with speed.
He threatened him
with speed.
Yes.
He came back with power.
Talk to me.
And it was just like...
And you know what the threat did? It got Kendall Lamb all out of position. You saw him in the air, feet crossed. And in that moment, Chandler Jones and his family, Bones Jones, whatever they're doing in all season, all came into play with that move.
Now, does the counter move only work once the first move have worked? You can only come back with speed to power once you've won with speed, correct?
That is correct. The only time a counter move works is either 1, you read their body and you're like, oh, the first one ain't working, I got him on here. Or 2, I pre-sold it because he's already anticipating my speed rush. So the speed rush, the threat of Chandler Jones, just the thought of him is enough to make that move work.
My dog. I love it. So Cardinal star Chandler Jones has the honor of being the first dude of the week this season. Y'all better be sure to check out next week to see who joins the 3-time Pro Bowler on the list.
Oh, love it.
Coming up, the Mac Jones era has begun in New England. We'll tell you how we feel about the Patriots right now. Hint, it's not good. That's next. Speak for yourself.
Yo, that looked big, yo. That looked good. That segment fresh. Patriots lost by 1 point to the Dolphins in week 1. But Mac Jones is getting a lot of praise for his debut. Rookie quarterback threw a touchdown pass with no interceptions. Now he'll try to get his squad their first win of the season in New York against the Jets on Sunday. So, Acho, how should we feel about the Patriots right now?
We should not feel good because it's not a good time to not be good. I'm going to let y'all digest that.
I like it.
You feel me? Like,
yes.
It's not a good time to not be good. Patriots are not a bad football team, and anybody who tells you otherwise is dumb. But it's just not a good time to not be good. You can go back to 2005, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and the Dolphins on average would have won 5 to 7 games. Y'all go back, y'all do the research, y'all do the math. Go back historically, the last 20 years, the Bills on average would have won 7 or so games. But right now, Bills going to win 12 to 13, and the Dolphins going to win 10 plus. So it's just not a good time to not be good. I don't feel bad about the Patriots because of the Patriots. The Patriots will do very well for what they are capable of doing this season. But as we talked about yesterday, everything in life is relative.
Let's go.
So how can I feel great about the Patriots if I feel greater about the Bills or greater about the Dolphins? Let's talk life. Let's talk life. I spent a lot of energy last segment. I got to come back down.
Oh, you did? What the hell I do?
Look, the market dictates your value, y'all. Relationally, occupationally. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but the market dictates your value. So you could be a 10, but if you in a room full of 11s,
Oh, I've been there.
then that 10 don't make you all that anymore.
Not till later.
You could be one of the most brilliant minds at your school. But if you go to a school with more brilliant minds, then you ain't all that brilliant. I apologize.
I felt it, too.
Should've went to Texas.
I felt it.
Again, the Patriots, you can be a okay football team. But if you're in a division of really good football teams, then you're okay. Don't look okay anymore. And that's where the Patriots, to me, fall this year, Sal. I do think they're not a bad football team, but their division, somehow, some way, all of a sudden, is very good. It's not a good time to not be good.
Oh, great take. Great take. Context matters, as you said. And this is a relative experience. And what we're seeing is not something that we typically see out of the New England Patriots. Last year, I want to say it's an anomaly, but if this continues, then I'm going to have to start continuing to say that last year was real. Let's look at the Patriots and how this game went down. I think for a first-year player in their first NFL game, Mac Jones looked amazing. I'm only saying that because I actually played in a Week 1 game as a rookie, and I knew how crazy it felt to just be out there. And I wasn't playing quarterback. I'm a backup defensive end. Mac Jones is solid by most regards, but to me it was spectacular because he didn't mess it up. No interceptions, 1 touchdown, 75 completion percentage. Your first outing? That's something to build on, big dog. But here's the problem I have. Only 6 teams score fewer points than the Patriots. They only put up 16 at home. They had 84 penalty yards in Week 1. Only 5 teams had more. That ain't Belichick style, having these guys out there undisciplined. So what I'm starting to see is like, look, I get it. You're going against the Miami Dolphins. And Flores, look, he's like figured out your Rubik's Cube. No matter how you twist it, he knows how to do it too because he used to be there. So maybe the play calls didn't necessarily surprise him or caught him off guard. So I almost want to throw last week away. But if I look at this team, I don't see the juice. I see the consistency. I see a Mac Jones who's going to continue to build and be a good to great quarterback. But with what around him, a lot of good names, but 16 points ain't going to get it done, especially when your quarterback is accurate, 75 completion percentage. So when you see them, they have to go Week 3 against the Saints. They got the Bucks. They got the Cowboys coming up soon. And who knows what the Texans is going to be if they can really back up their Week 1 performance. Point being, forget their division. Just looking at the schedule, who y'all facing? And if you're only putting up 16 against a team that you're familiar with, That could be a good thing or that could be a horrible thing.
Yeah, the other problem is it's just the unluck of the draw, if you will. Because of the nature of this new schedule, there's one more game for everybody in the NFL. The AFC has one more game against the NFC. The AFC top to bottom is better than the NFC. So the AFC will have 16 more games of ease than the NFC. Thus, for the Patriots, it's going to be increasingly difficult because the Bills' extra game is against Washington. The Dolphins' extra game is against the Giants, but the Patriots' extra game, unfortunately for them, is against the Cowboys. So even when you just look at the luck or lack thereof of the draw, it just don't look great for the Patriots. Again, it's not sell that the Patriots, I think, are bad, but, sometimes it's just not a great time to rebuild. It's not a good market. It's like the housing market. Sometimes it's not great to sell. Sometimes it's better for a buyer. Right now for the Patriots, it's just not good to have a rookie quarterback. Not when you look around and the Bills got Josh Allen and even the Dolphins with Tua. Say what you will about Tua. He still has 9 starts under his belt, 10 now. So the condemnation, if you will, of the Patriots has more to do with everything else around them. It took 11 wins to make the playoffs in the AFC last year. There's going to be another game this year. It does not look like the majority of those teams that made the playoffs last year are getting significantly worse.
Yeah, good point. Good point. Tua 7-3 now as a starter. Y'all better. I'm going to run a campaign to protect Tua and his name. That's what I'm going to do. Y'all better leave that dude alone. 102.6 passer rating if you're Mac Jones. Dog, week one, first game ever. You come out the gate like that, you got something to build on. The weapons, Aguilar, 5 for 72. He caught the touchdown. Jonnu Smith, 42 yards, 31 yards. Hunter Henry. You just see doses of goodness. I need to see some greatness because I know that quarterback is going to continue to get better. And if they can build around him some explosiveness, take the training wheels off and get some juice in this offense, maybe something special could happen in Foxborough. Coming up, Carmelo Anthony says loyalty in sports is extremely overrated. We'll tell you if we agree. These sports ain't loyal. That's next on Speak for Yourself.
Loyalty,
These sports ain't loyal, y'all. Carmelo Anthony made headlines for joining the Lakers. Now he's promoting a new book. And when the subject of loyalty in sports came up, Melo said, quote, loyalty in sports is extremely overrated. Melo added, quote, sports is just sports. It's a business. There's no loyalty in sports. You're an athlete. That's your profession. You get paid to do that. No one has to be loyal to you. Ooh, macho. Carmelo Anthony right in saying loyalty in sports is extremely overrated?
Man, he is. And Melo hit this one dead on, Sel. And the dilemma is this, that there is a triangular relationship.
Triangular. Let's see this.
Player, fan, owner.
Isosceles, equilateral, what are we doing?
It's actually not equilateral.
Oh, damn.
I'll go isosceles, because it's definitely not equal on all parts.
Let's go.
Triangular relationship between players, fans, and owners. And the problem is, the fans typically think that players work for them, when in all honesty, players work for the ownership and the management. So when a player leaves a team, fans take it so personally, because I was loyal to you. When the kicker is fan, it's not that you weren't loyal to me. It's the ownership, the team, the management that wasn't loyal to me. I'm not trying to leave you. You were loyal in your fandom, but the ownership and management was not loyal in their love to me. And I think that is the dilemma that athletes run into, and that is why loyalty is overrated. Because fans feel players leaving as betrayal when they're not betraying you. If anything, they are betraying the team, but the team never actually loved the player. So it's not betrayal at all. It's completely overrated because ain't no point in being loyal to somebody who ain't loyal to you.
Wow.
And teams are not loyal to their athletes, and it's just because it's a business. What it comes down to, it's not like it's business is business. It's strictly financial. So it's not as though it was anything personal. And that is why, loyalty is overrated.
Wow. I am with you. Triangular, huh? I got a triangular way of looking at this because Carmelo Anthony is dead on with this one, but it goes both ways. It goes all ways. I think loyalty is fake in the first place. I'm going to give you why I think that because of my introduction to the word loyalty and its definition. But let's use the triangle. Love and respect. Those are not things that you're told to have. If you have it for someone, you'd have it for someone. My family is about love and respect in them. It's not about loyalty to them, because loyalty is this fake layer. Loyalty is the force layer. And you start to force love and you start to force and fake respect. Let me give it to you like this. First time I heard about loyalty was with people in my neighborhood and the gangsters and all them. You gotta be down, you gotta be loyal. Loyalty. What is this loyalty? You mean I don't really innately like you, love you, respect you, but since we're going to do something together, fraternities, etc., now we're going to be loyal to each other. You know what's crazy? I saw that so many times dissolve because it's not innately about the love and respect. Now, let me marry that to sports, what Carmelo's talking about. What happens when you see things that are transactional, but the commodities are humans? You get caught up in thinking that, there's some love involved, when really the love is for the money, and you're just a representation of that money in value in terms of what your talents are. So the transaction of sports is all money-based. They're drafting people that can help them win, that can help them sell tickets, to help people come to the stadium, to help them sell the television rights, to help them sell ads, and that's all transactional. And it's fine when you're buying a beer for $20, but if we don't think about it the same when you're buying an athlete for $200 million, because their owner's sitting there with $3, $4, $5, $6 billion, and a couple of million sound like $20 to him. Here's the thing. It's not racial. It's not love. It's not respect. It's not loyalty. It's transactions that's going to make bottom lines affected. Simple as that. And I'm glad Carmelo said this. Took him 18 years to say it, probably, because he had to realize he was on the outside looking in, and there was no love, no respect, and obviously no loyalty. So, yeah, athletes out there, man, ain't nobody caring about you. That's why I trip when these athletes spaz out over team sports.
But here's what's interesting, Sal. The only people that believe in loyalty in sports that are really a part of sports are fans. Ownership does not believe in loyalty.
Facts.
We know that
Do
much.
players?
I think players are learning not to believe in loyalty.
Yes, thank you.
Right? I think the majority, at the point at which LeBron James has jumped around from place to place to place, he went back and he did what he had to do. But players, I don't think truly believe in loyalty. It's the fans that do. And I was thinking about it today. I was like, I think fans think they the spouse when they the side chick.
Talk to
like, fans have this notion that they're the actual significant other. And they the other, but they're just not as significant. Because fans take it so personally, but it's like, hey, big dog, I'm not tethered to you.
Not at all.
I'm tethered to them. Like, I got their name on the back of my jersey, whether it says Lakers, whether it says Buccaneers, whether it says Eagles, whether it says what. I got their name, I bear their name, but I don't bear yours. I bear their name and I bear my name. But nowhere do I bear your name.
Yeah.
And so the only perpetuation of loyalty is still primarily with fans. Fans need to remember their place in the game. They drive the game. A game would not necessarily exist without you to certain degrees. However, just remember, you're not the spouse. You're not the significant other.
Yeah.
You significant.
Yeah.
And you the other.
Yes.
But you ain't the significant other.
Okay, look, you know I don't give a damn about nobody, including fans, but fans do matter. Oh, yes, fans do matter. Let's talk about that. Because if a fan is not on board with this whole ecosystem, it's going to go away, right? Just like the side chick. If she ain't on board with how this is going down, which way this car going? If you ain't riding that way, it upsets the apple cart. Let's just say it that way, right? So that's why it's weird. It's this weird relationship with fans, because fans dish you online all day, and then they want pictures with you, the same fan, as soon as they see you in real life. So you know it's fake and real. Then fans support us, and look, I applaud fans. Grown people wearing jerseys, spilling beer, fighting, having that much passion. That's why they're fanatics. Having that much passion over something that they can't control. I am amazed at that. But they are an equitable part of the equation. I just think that they sometimes have visions of grandeur and they get a little outside their lines in terms of what their value really is. But what Carmelo is talking about, we already know now. It's just rule. They don't give a damn about you in team sports, right? Okay, that's fine. Is it rule now that players should now look at them and say, I don't give a damn about you? I think it's getting there, but it's not fully there. I'm looking at basketball players. Udonis Haslem, 18 years with the Heat. Steph Curry, 12 years. Then there's a list about 7 guys with 8 years. McCollum, Klay Thompson, Draymond, basically the whole Warriors. Most guys are just bouncing now. They're starting to realize that if they don't love me, I'm a return fire. and not be loyal and not love them. Coming up, Zeke had a week one to forget. We'll tell you if we expect the Cowboys star to bounce back on Sunday. That's next on Speak for Yourself.
We only got a sample size of Ezekiel Elliott in the Cowboys' Week 1 loss. He only had 11 carries for 33 yards. Yuck. But offensive coordinator Kellen Moore says, quote, Zeke's going to be ready to rock and roll against the Chargers on Sunday. So, Sel, you gonna be there. They might even call you in if necessary.
Oh!
But do you expect Zeke to bounce back against your Chargers?
No. That's all I got on my notes, too, y'all. It's blank. It say one word. No. Man, I don't know what's going on with Zeke, and I don't know what's going on with Kellen Moore. And I hate when an offensive coordinator or a coach comes out midweek talking about, oh, we really going to get him involved. Man, you had your chance, coach. 11 carries? I'm on both sides of that. 11 carries is not enough, but 11 carries tells you the flow of the game and if this player is ready. So, hate to say it, but one word, no.
I agree. I don't think Zeke bounces back. Remember, the Cowboys gained Zach Martin, Pro Bowl guard, but they lose their starting right tackle, La'el Collins. Beyond that, Kellen Moore, Brandon Staley, head coach for the Chargers defensive mind, he knows y'all going to try to force feed Zeke as well because he understands the emotions, the temperament of a football game. So what you think they're going to do early? Make sure they stop the run. It's not going to be for lack of effort that Zeke doesn't get going. I just think other teams get paid too. Zeke is going to get his carries. I don't think he's going to get his yards, but the Cowboys are going to try.
As you said yesterday, path of least resistance is throwing the football. If you start to struggle in the running game, oh, you ain't got to tell me twice. We struggling. Time to throw it, Dak. That's what's going to happen. That's it for us. We'll see you guys tomorrow. That dude's fire.